We began the practice with something that is always available to us, aliveness, the fact that you're alive. How do you know that you're alive? Sensory experience, emotions, sensations, and within yourself, the sense of aliveness, the flow, whether you call it energy, whether you call it feeling, beingness. And what if you make this our foundation throughout the day? Keep coming back from that. Keep stepping off the train of thought and come to the basic sense of aliveness. And we can explore this in various depths like we did today. So I just began with some gratitude, because it sets the heart in the right space. The lotus of gratitude, we thought of 10 things we're thankful for. Felt gratitude. And 2 nice affirmations we used today. I am the sky, everything else. Here's the weather. Meditation is my natural state. Everything else is an artificial state. And then we explored the 5 gates. I call them the five gears. 5 gears of awareness. Out, in, everything, nothing, and blessings. Out is sensory experience. We explored all the sense doors: hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching. In is inner experience, feelings, emotions, thoughts. Everything is not trying to control where attention goes. Everything is valid, everything is welcome. Nothing is a hard one to get because you can't get it, it'll get you. So just emptying yourself of whatever you think you know, whatever you think you are. Coming to the real source, asking that powerful question: who is practicing? Who is having this experience? Who knows? You can't get an answer to that because that just is. And then from that space, infinite blessings, infinite blessings. Because the more you empty yourself of yourself, the clearer the channel you become of these blessings. The more you're full of yourself, the more you are constantly trying to navigate your life, push and pull on your life experience, your energy, to try to get what you think you need. So from this place of, at least for a little while, the ego has gotten somewhat silenced. From this place, genuine loving blessings for all. And I give many topics, many different places, but it's really infinite blessings to infinite blessings. So 5 gears: out, in, everything, nothing, blessings. And there are 5 accelerations of these gears. Recognize, instantaneous, doesn't take time. Recognize that there are 5 gears. Revisit them throughout the day, throughout this call. Keep revisiting the 5 gears. So as you're listening, to be aware of what you're hearing, to be aware of what you're feeling, right? So keep revisiting, even for 2 seconds, even for 5 seconds, even for 10 seconds. Revisit, and of course you'll lose it. Like I said, be aware of aliveness. You're aware of aliveness for 3 seconds, and then maybe some thought comes, and we're gone. We lost in the content as opposed to the consciousness. We come back again. So we revisit. So recognize, revisit, refine. So what we did right now, we practiced for about half an hour, and we were refining these 5 gears. We spent more time with sensory experience, inner experience, everything, nothing, blessings. So we were refining it. So refine for 20 minutes, for half an hour, for 1 hour. Little by little, this starts becoming the most enjoyable part of life. You're no longer so interested in the content of our experience. You're more interested in consciousness. I am the sky. Everything else is weather. This is the kind of taste with nothing else can really match. So recognize, revisit, refine, and sooner or later you come to a place of rest. In rest, you lose track of time. You lose track of I'm meditating. What meditation am I doing? You lose track of all of that. You lose track of this and that. You could call it samadhi. It's a state of this pure being. You don't know how much time just passed. Was it half an hour? Was it 2 hours? Was it a day? Was it a year? You don't really know. Because you've touched a dimension beyond time and space. So this is rest. And you may reemerge. Each time you reemerge from that state of rest, a big glaciers of inner obstructions fall away. And as they keep falling away, falling away, falling away, the last stage is realize. Realize who you really are. Or you could even say who you really are now fully remembers itself. So far it was coming in flashes, but now it is unobstructed, cannot be confused. It is like you have woken up within the dream, like Neo in the Matrix. And no matter what happens, it's like you're that popcorn seller in the movie theater who's seen that same movie 100 times. Not a single scene can confuse this popcorn seller. He knows he's in the movie theater, completely unconfused. And his only focus is to serve the other moviegoers. Not interested in, not really interested so much in the movie or what happens in the movie. Movie will keep on going, just present and attentive. So today we've explored these 5 gears of awareness: out, in, everything, nothing, blessings. And the 5 accelerations: recognize, instantaneous, revisit, 2 to 10 seconds at least, refine, be there for longer, rest, forget time. And as you keep resting and refining, sooner or later, this is a whole journey of letting go actually. You can't control these things. At the right time, the flower blossoms. At the right time, the sun rises. At the right time, the veil parts. And that is the realization. So that's what I wanted to share. And now I'd like to give it back to you, Subha. However you want to take the rest of the call, however you want to do an interaction. It's up to you.
Thank you very much, Nithya. There are a few questions which people have passed to me, so I just kind of pick up a few of them which are common, most popular kind of questions. Mm-hmm. So, in life, we all think of how we're making progress. Whether we're making progress, whether in our yoga practice, whether in our professional life, in our personal life, growth and progress. So one of the things which frequently comes up in a meditative practice is that how do I know if I'm making progress? How do I know if I'm successful, if you will? And that kind of motivate or demotivate us because that's the kind of frame of reference in which we live today. So how do we motivate ourselves, therefore, to keep on the journey?
Yeah. So everyone has heard this question. I'd like everyone to return to that sense of aliveness, sense of being, that simple feeling of being. So this is the cutting edge of life. This is life right now. Right? If you're in touch with being, you're on the leading edge of life, if there's such a thing. In this place, it becomes very clear what needs attention. It will become very clear to you that you fought with your son last night and it wasn't resolved. What's going to come up? That needs attention. He needs a hug this morning. You need to apologize. Or you need to have a calm conversation. It's going to become evident. It's going to get clear. Whatever needs attention will come up in this state. Whether it's your finances that need attention, whether it's an unreplied email that needs attention. Don't get pulled away by it. Stay in this awareness and see what needs attention. Just keep coming up. It'll keep coming up. So as far as I'm concerned, being in this state of presence, this is real progress. Now everything will progress at a speed you cannot even imagine, at a rate you cannot even imagine. Instead of trying to think of what progress what do you think progress looks like? You imagine you will have a certain glow. You imagine you will speak and talk and behave in certain ways. There's no guarantee. Maybe progress for you might be being spontaneous in a way that really offends people. How do you know, right? So drop your concepts of progress. Like for me, it came to a place where I was laughing. I was being silly all the time. I was laughing all the time. And somehow in my silliness and playfulness, and like Subha was saying, I carry my games everywhere. And people say, what, you're carrying games? The games is something children do. But somehow in that childishness, in that playfulness, in that silly competitiveness, people would leave that place saying something just shifted, I've reconnected with the part of myself I completely forgot. If I put on the hat of a spiritual teacher, then, we should be serious, we should be meditating all the time, we should be talking about serious subjects all the time. That would be my concept of what progress means. And does being need to progress? Even the sense of progress, it assumes a sense of I, it assumes a sense of me, it assumes a sense of a being in time, in linear time, trying to get somewhere. So what if progress is actually letting go of the sense of being a separate entity in time? Dogen Zenji, one of the great Zen masters, has a very different way of looking at time and looking at impermanence. Very refreshing way, perhaps something that you may not have heard before. So the Buddha talks about impermanence all the time. Many religions talk about it, but the Buddha talks about it more strongly than anyone else. Constantly talking about anicca, change, impermanence, change, impermanence. And Dogen Zenji, the way he describes impermanence. So normally we think things arise and things pass away. Things arise and things pass away. Like for example, the meditation began, and we had about a half an hour, 35-minute meditation. At some point it concluded. It rises, it passes away. And now Dogen says something that goes completely contradictory to everything our sensory experience tells us. Dogen says things arise and pass away at the same time. What does it mean that things arise and pass away at the same time? There is nothing that lingers. Now, if that is the reality, then where is progress in this? Where is the room for progress? If it's arising and passing away at the same time, the dream arises and passes away at the same time. In a dream, you can experience a year, 100 years, but it arose and passed away. How much time? Maybe just a simple brainwave. Arising and passing away at the same time, something our mind can't fathom. This is a koan. This is an unsolvable question. And every time you come to this perception that things arise and pass away at the same time, I call this going against the stream. We have a certain stream of how we think life is, and I am, and progress, and life, and we are moving towards some imaginary goal. But what if it arises and passes away at the same time? What happens to ideas of progress? What happens to ideas of trying to get somewhere? Maybe that's progress.
Mm.
So progress might be unexpected. Progress might not be what you think it is. So I might have confused some of you more, and that's actually good.
That's
or you might have got
interesting.
something from what I'm sharing. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, that's right. So go ahead.
Yeah, that's interesting, Nithya. Because what we find is that many of us find it. We know that certain things are good for us. We understand intellectually what you're saying, but we find it challenging to motivate ourselves to be consistent in our practice. Is there anything that, in your experience, you have learned or experienced that helps us, how we could stay motivated or inspired, if you will?
I want to share this quote by Rumi that someone shared with me. If I can find it. Rumi says, that your efforts to seek me are in actuality my efforts to seek me. So we imagine we are making these efforts to seek the truth, seek the infinite, seek the one, whatever word you like, God, consciousness, ultimate reality, nirvana, whatever you want to say. And Rumi is saying, no, that's not your efforts. That is the efforts of that to seek itself. So that God wants to remember himself, herself, itself. That beingness, that source wants to remember itself, herself, himself, whatever word you want to say. So that is trying to remember. And this is a very powerful perception. It's not you. So even the sense that I'm not, I'm not consistent enough. I'm not motivated enough. For a moment, just leave that. You are as motivated as you're motivated. You are as consistent as you're consistent. Stop comparing yourself. What if you stopped comparing yourself with these saints and with these Buddhas and with all these? Suppose you just came back with a sense of aliveness. Suppose there was no comparison. Life wants to experience itself in all possible hues, including the hue that is you.
Yeah.
So I used to judge myself for not being consistent enough. And one day I had this big realization that I am consistently inconsistent. right? So despite not being motivated, you're here on this call, or some of you are going to see the recording of this call. What motivated you to see this call, or be here early in the morning, 8 o'clock, you're on this call, or whatever time in the world you're at? So what motivated you? Something motivated you, right? So just keep noticing the natural motivation instead of having some ideal of motivation of how my motivation should look like, just the way it is. Can we just appreciate things the way they are instead of waiting for them to be a certain way? Appreciate your home the way it is. Appreciate your relationships the way they are. Appreciate your work the way it is. Your current ability to express yourself in whatever language you speak. Appreciate it the way it is, as opposed to the way it should be, could be, would be. In that appreciation, in that acknowledgement, in that connection, in that beingness, the flowering starts to happen. So, one of the lessons that has gotten clearer and clearer to me is that I'm not here to be anyone else. I'm here to be me. And what it means to be me keeps on deepening, keeps on expanding, keeps on, it keeps on challenging what I assume it means to be me. And again, come back to that sense of aliveness. Let that aliveness explore itself.
How wonderful.
How wonderful.
And this is so amazing because all that you've experienced today in your meditation and in the discussions that we're having is all about just being ourselves and being comfortable in ourselves, being inspired by ourselves, and being happy and joyful in ourselves. So it's wonderful to just hear that and to experience ourselves, if you will. And in that perhaps exists the love for everyone else, for all others, everything that is around us, not just humans, but everything else around. Perhaps, Nithya?
Is that a question? What do you say?
Yeah, it was a question. I said, does in being ourselves exist the love for everyone else and everything else that is around us?
You will sometimes think that being myself means this. And then suddenly you find you're creating a lot of disruption all around yourself. What's going on? I'm just being myself. Why am I getting so disrupted? And then you start listening to them. Okay, let me put this person at ease. Let me put that person. And then again, you feel, what's going on. I'm losing myself in the process. I'm trying to satisfy everybody else. I'm losing myself. Both ways, we've gotten caught in some kind of a role. Either the role of being, oh, I'm this free person, I'm this positive person, I'm this intuitive person, I'm this spontaneous person, I'm this free-flowing person. That's a kind of an idea. The sense of, oh, they expect me to be like this, they expect me to be like this, I need to be like this. That's also some kind of an idea. So eventually both, this is going to go on. In India, we call it a manthan. It's like like a rubbing against each other. It keeps rubbing, drilling, moving. And from that, comes out the churn happens. Milk becomes butter. It's an irreversible state. Milk becomes butter, and all that churning, it may look like nothing is happening, and I'm just in this big topsy-turvy world. I don't know what is myself. I don't know what others expect from me. Just stay there. Again, come to that simple feeling of being. What I began the session with today is the most important lesson. Be in touch with your aliveness. Be in touch with your aliveness, and then you will know in that place at what time is it appropriate to listen to others and let go of your preferences and just do what they need? And what time to necessarily stand your ground and say it's all right. Even if the whole world comes crashing down, even if the whole world opposes me, I'm going to listen to my inner voice. It doesn't matter. And you will know when to trust that. It'll not be a mental cognitive thing. It'll be an inner knowing, right? The heart tells itself what to do.
Thank you, Nithya. Just in closing, before we did, I have two requests of you. One is a wisdom that we can take with ourselves for the week. And the second is perhaps a prayer of peace before we close for the day.
Mm-hmm. So just be comfortable in your own skin. The wisdom for you is to be comfortable in your own skin. And this includes when you're uncomfortable, right? So even to know that you're confused is a kind of clarity. Even to know that you're lost is a kind of arriving. So nothing is out of place. The wisdom is that nothing is out of place. Everything is happening exactly the way it should. You can even make that an affirmation. Remember today we said things 10 times. There's something powerful about just repeating things. You just done it 10 times. I normally tell people do it 108 times at least. Everything is in its place. Everything is happening the way it should. Nothing is out of place. All you have to do is to be. Come back to that sense of beingness. Come back to that sense of aliveness. Don't feel that you have to solve this big puzzle of life. Life is seeking life. What is seeking is not just you. It is actually not you. What is seeking is your true self. Seeking itself, right? So I would really invite people to relax, be comfortable in their own skin. Wherever you go, let that be holy ground. Let that be the most important moment of your life. Each person you meet is the most important person. Each thing you're doing, whether it's even washing the dishes, cleaning your room, is the most important thing to do. Now, how can you do it with a sense of love and awareness? In love, there's a sense of recognizing the sacredness of creation. Love, gratitude, these all states where you recognize the sacredness of creation. And awareness is you realize it's just a movie, it's just a play, right? So love makes you care for creation. And awareness is, I don't mind what happens. So I care, but I don't mind. I care, but I don't mind. I care deeply. I care so deeply that I don't mind at all. Whatever way this dream turns, whatever way this life flows, I don't mind. And so more deeply you can just care and not mind. This is a very dynamic kind of freedom, right? And the prayer, let's have a silent prayer instead of a wordy prayer. Let's all tune in. And let it be a silent prayer from our heart to our source. From every cell to its source. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. I am now a channel of blessings for someone today. I am now a channel of blessings in the world. May I be a channel of blessings for someone today. May I be the clearest possible channel of the highest possible blessings in the world. May we be the clearest possible channel of the highest possible blessings in the world. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. Beautiful. All right.
Thank you so much, Nithya. Thank you so much. I know it's really early in India. Thanks for joining us so early, 5:30 in the morning. You were with us. Much